Good morning. We want to welcome you to the Drainage District Board of Directors meeting posted for today, September the 25th, 2018. Present are Commissioner Fuentes, Precinct 1, Commissioner Cantu, Precinct 2, Commissioner Flores, Precinct 3, and myself. We have a quorum. Please join us in prayer.
Thank you, Judge. Let us pray. Father God, again, we come to you and just give you many thanks, Lord. Thank you for the opportunity that you provide us to serve another day, Lord. Thank you for the date you've given us. We continue to pray for this elected body that you appoint, Lord. This judge and 4 commissioners, we lift them up to you, Lord. And continue to provide them your wisdom and your peace also. They continue to make the decisions that affect us all, Lord. I will continue to pray for all the leadership of this great county that we serve, Lord. I continue to ask for your wisdom as well, for the Drainage District, myself, for the employees, for all those that serve in public office, Lord. We continue to pray for those that are battling, Lord. Father God, we know that everything's in your hand. They're battling the catastrophic events that have taken place in the east and the continual rain that's coming, Lord, for them. We continue to pray for the people here in our area as well, Lord, as they restore and get back to normalcy, Lord. We know your hand is in all of this, Lord. We just, again, give you praise for the opportunity that you give us to serve, Lord. I ask all this in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Under open forum, did anyone sign up?
Yes, sir. We do have some participants under open forum. I will remind the audience to please respect the speaker's time at the podium. There is a 3-minute time limit. I will advise when there is 1 minute. Our first speaker is, or presenter is Yadira Gonzalez.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Yadira González y yo soy de Álamo, de Ciudad State, y vengo a darle las gracias al señor David Fuentes por la limpieza que ha sido otorgada en mi colonia y gracias por la confianza que me dan de dirigirme directamente con ustedes para poder hacer el trabajo en mi colonia. Gracias.
Good morning. My name is Yadira Gonzalez. I'm from Sioux Estates in Alamo. I'm here to thank Commissioner Fuentes for the cleaning in my colonia and also thanking you for the opportunity to communicate directly with your office. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next presenter is Ms. Fern McClarity.
Good morning. I've got several things I need to ask y'all about. I know y'all know about the Cinderella story, how that I believe that y'all have 2 departments in the county that y'all treat like stepchildren and you don't like them. And one of them is the elections. There is a giant rat. They have had several that are the size of a cat. And I would like y'all to do something about that, fix that building or move them or do something. But we catch that rat. I think we ought to bring it over to y'all. And the other one is our tax office. Not one place I really like to go at the end of the year, but we do. But they are requesting 6 people. And some of these people in this area was taken over to the Hackberry building, I believe, so we could open that up for McAllen. So now we are asking, or I am asking from the public, because we call over there for card tags or for asking questions, and there's no one to answer the phone. The phone rings and rings and rings and rings. So these people are part-timers, and it's going to be during the tax season when the people are trying to figure out if they can come up with the money. So I'm hoping and praying today that y'all will vote for that and help the public, because it seems like you don't care too much about the public either. Today I saw on your agenda that you're going to sign a resolution on this Trauma 1. I talked the other day. I know that they're going around to the cities and to the county now so they can go to Austin and say, oh, everyone just loves this idea. Level 1 is the most expensive, and it will have to have a lot of resources. The closest one is San Antonio, Houston, Dallas. Level 2 is McAllen Medical and Valley Baptist Hospital. I don't understand why McAllen Medical is not the one that's trying to go for 1. Why is it another hospital? Level 3 is Rio Grande Regional and DHR. They're level 3. This is the one that has doesn't have as much staff that is there at all times. They're able to take care of the patients and things, but they're wanting more. They're wanting to go, and I understand in the article that they have requested it themselves, and that they will be pushing in the legislation to fund, to strengthen up the funding from the state And what happens when that money runs out? The state money, federal money, wherever they're going to get it at. And what we don't want is we don't want a hospital district. 111,822 people voted no the second time around. So I want to know who's going to pay for this. Are they going to put up their homes and guarantee that it will never be a tax on the taxpayers here in Hidalgo County? We can't afford it. We can't even get rid of the rats that are in the building, much less any other. So I'm hoping that you will look at these, think about the tax office, but the main thing is the people, that they have someone to call and ask questions, where they have to go to pay their taxes, where they have to, what do they need for a car tag to change or whatever. So please take consideration and forget your stepchildren and start loving them too.
Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Angela Ridley.
Good morning, and thank you all for having us. I'd like to thank Commissioner Flores for asking me to come up and speak to you all. I'm with Safe Haven for Kids. My name is Angela. Like I said, this is Tracy. We're with Safe Haven for Kids. It's an emergency shelter for abused children that we've been working on for 2.5 years to try and open up to care for abused children in this area. We are in need of raising some funds, $75,000 to be exact, to go ahead and open our doors and provide a service for the abused children and neglected children in this area that is not available to them. We will be having a fundraiser on October 4th. We have an invitation for all of you all. Even though we are not open officially as a shelter, CPS came to us back in January and asked if we would allow the children to stay there anyway, and instead of having them spend the night at the CPS offices, which is what we've been doing since February, with no compensation. So the money that we do bring in to try and open our doors, it's still been going to paying the rent, utilities, insurance, and everything else. We are providing the service, but we're not getting compensated. So we're asking you if you would help us in some way to raise the money that we need to raise to open the shelter for abused children. I don't know, I'm sure you all realize how bad it is down here. Out of the 254 counties in the state of Texas, Hidalgo County is number 7 for the most child abuse cases, and there's no place for these children to stay. So like I said, we're trying desperately to raise the funds to open the doors. Once we open the doors, we will be compensated by CPS, and we will be able to operate and hire and pay everybody that we need to pay. It will be a 24-hour facility, so we need the funds. Actually, CPS requires that we have 3 months of operating expenses in the bank before they allow us to open our doors. That's the huddle that we've been trying to overcome. Once we do open our doors, like I said, we will get compensated by CPS and be able to care for, all the utilities and responsibilities that we have. One of the things, the biggest expense we will be having is hiring people. We have to hire at least 20 people right off to care for the kids 24/7. According to CPS, it does have to be staff that cares for the children, not volunteers, even though we will be having, several volunteers to come in and spend time with the children. Yes, sir?
No, I'm sorry, 1 minute.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you had a question. Anyway, I would like I said, invite you all to come out and take a look at the shelter. We have it completely set up. Mr. Cantu has been out there to see the facility. Appreciate that very much. Would like to invite the rest of you to come out. We do have everything ready for the kids. We've got cribs, playground equipment, and I'd like to mention, too, that we have had a lot of support from the community. Bert Ogden brought us over Burns Motors brought us over a riding lawnmower. Lax donated all the bunk beds. Ashley Furniture donated the mattresses. The Winter Texans have been amazing. The house is completely set up, but we do need, like I said, funding to help us open the doors. It's just a one-time thing that we need. Once we're up and going, then we'll be fine. Please, I ask you to help us provide the service for the children, like I said, that is not available to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And just to we may have some 381 money for this, so I know Sergio's not in the audience, but he can hear me that we may look at our 381 to see if we have money in there, our 381 account.
Thank you.
Next presenter is Lisbeth Gonzalez.
Hi, good morning, Judge Commissioners. Lisbeth Gonzalez, Precinct 4. As a notice, Commissioner Palacios would like to advise the court and the public that as part of his leadership role in the Hidalgo County Metropolitan Planning Organization, or the MPO, he is attending the last meeting as a designee in San Antonio for the remainder of the week. So if he is needed, he does have a cell phone, or he may be contacted through the office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last presenter is Paola Villanueva, or Villanueva, sorry. Villanueva.
She's over.
Oh.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
My name is Paola Villanueva, and I'm here from All Valley Waste. Our company has been in business for almost 15 years. We started with 2 customers back in 2003. We're up to almost a little bit over 7,000 customers. I'm here today because Sunday morning I started thinking about all the customers that we represent, and it occurred to me that there's a lot of people supporting All Valley Waste and that they wish to continue with our service. So in order for me to represent them, I asked if they would be willing to sign a petition. So on Sunday afternoon from 4 to 8 p.m., I opened my office to the public and I started collecting signatures. Yesterday we collected from 8 to 6 p.m. and as of today, we have collected in those 2 days 146 signatures. These are people that wish to stay with our service. Right now they're paying $20 per month. They will not be able to afford if the rates, another company, if the rates go up. So pretty much we're just, doing this in order to stay in business. Our busiest days are from the 2nd to the 8th of the month. I'm confident that if I was going to start getting petitions on that 1 week, I know that I can get over 1,000 signatures in just 1 week of people that are willing to stay with our service. And like I said, I'm here just to try to stay in business. That's all I'm doing. I'm not being ill-fated or trying to damage anyone's reputation. I'm just here because I need to fight for this business. I mean, we started 15 years ago, and when I started, I didn't think I was going to fail. I started the business with a purpose of keep growing. And as an additional, we've also collected signatures for people that want to start the brush collection, which we're willing to start. We're ready to pick up the brush and heavy items just to stay in business. I would rather invest another $200,000 than lose everything that we work for. So we're ready to start providing the brush and the heavy items and anything that the county will ask of us to do. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is that it, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any concerns with the consent agenda?
No, sir. None that I'm aware of, sir.
Move approval. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Excuse
Item
me.
5.
Yes, sir. Thank you. 5A, public hearing on the Dow County Incident 1 2018 proposed budget. If you want to open up that public hearing.
All right. At this time, we're going to be convening a public hearing. The issue to be discussed is the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1's 2018 proposed budget.
Again, just for the record, our tax rate is 0.0951, and we're proposing the same tax rate this year as we had last year.
All right. Anyone desire to make any comments on our proposed tax rate? No one rising. At this time, we're going to be closing our public hearing and proceeding to the next item.
5B, approval of order setting the 2018 Dow County Drainage District 1 tax rate at 0.0951 per $100 valuation. Maintenance and operation tax rate of 0.0521 and debt service tax rate at 0.0430. And I believe you have something that you need to read in the record there in front of you.
This one here?
The highlighted area.
Okay.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.0951, which is effectively a 2.26% increase in the tax rate. M&O 0.0521, INS at 0.0430 for a total tax rate of 0.0951, same as prior year.
Second.
Those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you. Item C, discuss consideration act changes, if any, of the adoption of the 2019 annual budget. We made that presentation last week. Again, we're presenting a balanced budget for this coming year. Any questions regarding what we're proposing before the board? We made that presentation at the last meeting. We are considering the 3% cost of living adjustment in our budget as well. And again, just for the record, it is a balanced budget that we're proposing for next year.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Just ask, before you move on, just again, we need to make sure that we consider the requirement for maintaining our ditches.
Yes, sir, and we have those some positions that we propose in there, sir. We are very assertive in our approach. We do have also in our budget identified for additional equipment to acquire for the maintenance of that system that we're looking at. And as I mentioned, as the year progresses, we're going to be looking at how we can sweep money to stay within our budget and be able to order more equipment, shredders and things of that nature, so we can stay ahead of our schedule. We're about a 6-month schedule right now. Precinct 1, just in the irrigation district number 9 system, we're about 110 miles that we've acquired in the last 3 years. We've got about 11 shredders associated with that out of the 45 that we have. So we need to add to that to maintain that six-month cutting cycle. We're still going to be communicating with the irrigation district number 9 on how we work on the additional miles, which is 250 total, but 140 still left on the table. And also in the central and western part of the whole district, keeping that maintenance cycle of 6 months on the existing systems that we have, some for number 1, some in Donna, some in Progreso. So yes, sir, we're very cognizant of that. That's why we want the additional staff as well, and we'll be looking at additional equipment to try to maintain that 6 month and then expand on it, because we do want to ultimately get to a point where we can take over as much as we can in that area or district wide and work with obviously balancing that with our equipment and employment needs.
So from my standpoint, just maintaining every 6 months is probably a little difficult for us because of so much of the brush and
yes, sir,
that's in our area. But I would just say if we're going to do that, then one of those cycles needs to be very early in hurricane season.
Yes, sir.
But even then, we can help supplement. If you're able to get some of those additional pieces of equipment, our staff can assist with maintaining that, especially during the heavy rain event periods, that we can go out there and help you and assist with not just pulling the debris out like we normally do, but we'll also assist with possibly putting in some manpower on those machines so that we can continue to shred it, when it's necessary.
I think that would be a great approach, Commish. I think we can look at that partnership and help keep our drainage flowing, effectively in our area. So yeah, we would definitely look at that very closely, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Item D, approval to set salaries for district employee and travel allowances for board members and the realigned slot numbers. The allowance for the board members is $9,000 total, which is $1,800 per member.
So
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6, requesting approval to submit letter of intent to the United States Army Corps of Engineers as it relates to the Rainbow Drain Project and approval Drainage District General Manager to execute. What we're doing here is we've been working with the Corps regarding the Rainbow Drain and the environmental process. Recently it had changed, and then they went back and said, well, if you execute this memorandum of understanding on the commitments that the district will make to the federal government, we can help work through this environmental. So this letter of intent is to say we're committed to doing just that, getting that memorandum of understanding executed, so we can start the process of finally getting that environmental through the Army Corps of Engineers approved. So our engineers, SMB, we've had conversations. We're developing a timeline. Once we get this letter drafted and sent to the Corps, I'll copy the board as far as the timeline that we anticipate, and then with their response, hopefully it falls into that timeline or whatever adjustments the Corps needs to make on their end. As far as our end, we can control once we get to theirs. It's obviously subject to their timeline. So I'll keep the board abreast of that. But that's basically what we're doing here for that project.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6B, pursuant to the board's approval letter of intent to the Army Corps requesting approval of Drainage District General Manager to review and negotiate memorandum of understanding with the Army Corps as it relates to the Rainbow Drain project.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 7, Judge, I believe this was an item that was placed by you, sir. Approval of the following personnel action effective next pay period. Now, is the intent to do it next pay period or to do it the budget?
The intent is to create the position, and then we'll talk about whether or not we're going to be filling it or who will be hired to fill it.
What exactly is the role of this position?
Well, he'll be an in-house counsel, and the person that I have in mind is a person that is very knowledgeable about all the district contracts. He's been directly involved with the litigation that the district is involved in, and
one of the things that I appreciate about the position that we've been in, the structure that we have here internally, is just that we can rely on an outside counsel to represent us, and the liability of our decisions and the direction that they give us is supported by their staffing and also by their insurance. And I have, from the standpoint of having an in-house counsel, I think that if we become vulnerable to that litigation or to that, I guess, whatever the correct attorney exposure for the decisions that we make internally, I kind of like, in technology we're looking at cybersecurity and how their expertise and their knowledge and their direction would give us that umbrella of protection from the standpoint of the resources that they have out there. I liken this to that, in that I'm in favor of having outside counsel kind of give us that direction and guidance.
Well, what you're talking about can be taken care of by simply, purchasing a policy. If you're concerned about having a lawyer that has an insurance policy to back them up, well, we can go ahead and take care of that by purchasing a policy to provide for that.
But what about the support of staff around them for them?
Yeah, my concern is that I don't know if we have enough hourly fees to go for both outside counsel and an inside counsel. In the county we have the DA's office and we have outside counsel, but we probably 10 times more work in the county than in the drainage district. I think that this individual is competent. I just don't think that we need him and the outside firm. And I'd rather have an outside firm so when issues are complicated, they can spread it amongst themselves and have different attorneys looking at different things. I just don't know if we have enough hours for a 90 plus fringes, like $120,000 position. That's my concern.
Are you asking to just create the position and then fill it later, if necessary?
But the thing is, it's still going to come back to us at that time. So, why create it if we're not going to fill it? But if we're going to fill it, let's fill it now.
Move for approval on 7. E, whatever it is. Yeah.
For clarification, is that as it reads, next pay period, or is that for if the board wishes to create this position? Is that going to be for January 1st budget? I just want to clarify that because it reads like this, but the judge has stated it's to create the position, discuss it later. So is that going to be for the January 1st budget so we can work it into our budget, or for now? If
I'm against
the board's created.
I'm against creating it. When we're going to have less members here, I thought that we would move forward with creating it and then discussing it later. But because we have 4 members here, I'd rather just discuss it now. I'm against the item.
I guess I don't really understand why we're doing this in particular, especially when we just approved going out for outside counsel, and what's changing or what's giving us this direction.
Well, the one thing I can stress is that we'd have had an in-house lawyer that, such as the one that we're contemplating or that I'm contemplating, we wouldn't have had that Godfrey Garces type of situation. All that would have been prevented. But, well, it appears that we're going to have to wait anyway.
Well, we can go ahead and have it for January 1st, no?
Yes. No, January 1st would be a good time.
But the thing is, it's going to come back to us, and then we're going to have to decide about filling it or not.
But there's
Well, by then there'll be four people on the commissioner's court plus a judge.
You mean on January 1st or later, or
No,
if I create something that we're
It's
not,
got to be filled by January 1st.
right.
so it'll still be us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but Joseph will be here.
I mean, I can respect having all 5 members here.
I don't mind.
I don't mind waiting until Joseph comes.
So what do we do? Table?
No action?
Just take no action, and the commissioner would have to withdraw his motion.
Okay.
All right,
I withdraw my motion then.
and put it on for next week then.
Yeah.
We'll move on to item 8A, requesting exemption competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 262.024A7, items for which competition is precluded because of existence of patents, copyrights, secret process, or monopolies in connection with Whole Cat Texas LTD for Caterpillar software maintenance, technical support, and software upgrades license renewals.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, approval of sole source declaration for Whole Cat Texas LTD for the purchase of Caterpillar software products, software maintenance, technical support, and software upgrades, license renewals with authority to purchase Caterpillar ET subscription renewal and SIS web software subscription for 1 year in the total amount of $2,250 and thereafter annually for as long as ACD1 possesses the software with sole source declaration to remain in effect unless otherwise revoked by the Board of Directors.
So moved.
Second?
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 9A, requesting approval of final negotiated professional service agreement subject to legal review with Robert Kistner's, Inc. as it relates to professional construction material testing services for the Benitez Pump House project, approved for negotiations by the Board of Directors September 4th. Agenda item 66444.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 9B, pursuant to the Board's approval of professional agreement with Robert Kistner, Inc., requesting approval of work authorization number 1, the amount of $102,210.90 related to the provision of construction material testing services for the Benitez Pump House project, contract number CACDD1 1805200925, work authorization number 1. This is part of the commitment that we have to get the Benitez Pump House constructed. It is 100% reimbursable by the federal government, and it's all based on actual testing performed. So we have a construction manager that will be managing that project, coordinating with him. The actual testing gets performed, and then those invoices will be confirmed, and then we pay out, and they get reimbursed from the federal government for it.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 10, requesting approval to issue payment after reviewing compliance contract terms and conditions, CIP 2013 bond. A, application for payment number 2 in the amount of $170,685.44 from Castle Enterprises LLC pertaining to construction contract number ACD1 18020508 J09 Phase 3 drainage improvements.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. 11A, requesting approval to accept bids and award of construction contract to lowest and best bidder meeting all specified requirements. RFP number ACDD1 1804700919 Alamo Expressway Drain, Castle Enterprises LLC for the base bid in the total amount of $475,115.33 as recommended by project engineer Mr. Saldivar from my office, subject to legal approval and compliance with House Bill 1295.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
11B, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262031, in the interest of expediting project's progress, requesting authority approval for Drainage District General Manager to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease in cost of $50,000 or less, and in no event to exceed the change order statutory limits. Original contract price may not be decreased by 18% or more without the consent of the contractor.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. 12A, requesting approval to accept bids and award a construction contract to lowest and best bidder meeting all specified requirements. RFP number ACDD1 18-048-0919, Jackson Drain Improvements to Castle Enterprises LLC for the base bid in the total amount of $242,240.01, as recommended by, again, project engineer from my office, Mr. Saldivar, subject to legal approval and compliance with House Bill 1295.
Move for approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
12B, pursuant to Texas Government Code 262031, in the interest of expediting project's progress, requesting authority to approve a Drains District General Manager to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease in the cost of $50,000 or less, and no event exceed change order statutory limits.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 13A, requesting approval to accept bids and award. Yeah, but it's covered under statutory limits. 13A, requesting approval to accept bids and award a construction contract to lowest and best bidder, meeting all specified requirements, RFP number 8CD1 1804900919, Drainage Improvements Project, 495 Drain Control Structure and Donna North Lateral Control Structure to Venture Contractors LLC for a base bid in the total amount of $596,919.90, as recommended by, again, Mr. Saldivar, engineer from my office. Legal approval, subject to legal approval and compliance, House Bill 1295.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And then 13B, pursuant to Texas Government Code 262031, in the interest of expediting the project's progress, requesting authority to approve a Drains District General Manager to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease in the cost of $50,000 or less, in no event to exceed the change order statutory limits. And again, the original contract may not be decreased by 18% or more without the consent of the contractor, which is within the statutory limits.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We do not have any items for closed session today.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. At this time, we're going to be convening a regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court, posted for today, September 25th, 2018. Present are Commissioner Fuentes, Precinct 1, Commissioner Cantu, Precinct 2, Commissioner Flores, Precinct 3, and myself. We have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we come together today for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and in the years to come. Help us to work well together, recognizing that each of us are here because we want what is best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessing and your guidance. Amen. And if you could remain standing, please. On September 21st, 1989, a group of 81 Mission ISD junior high and high school students riding the bus to school never made it to class that day in one of the deadliest school bus crashes in U.S. history. At about 7:30 a.m. that day, a Dr. Pepper truck heading north on Bryan Road ran a stop sign at 5 Mile Road in Alton and slammed into that Mission ISD bus number 6. The impact forced the bus over an embankment into a water-filled caliche pit. The bus, lying on its side, was completely submerged, killing 20 youths, and with the 21st victim passing away at Mission Hospital about a week later. The children killed ranged in age from 12 to 18, and more than 50 others were hospitalized with injuries suffered from that crash. Today we remember those killed and the surviving children who are now adults, many of whom still bear the scars from that horrific day. And you'll see on the screen the 21 children who were killed. In memoriam, Maria Alfaro, Roberto Balzaldúa Jr., Margarita Puentelo, Carmen Canales, Elda B. Cruz, Raúl Flores, Elizabeth Flores, Abdan Garcia, Armando Gonzalez, Ruby Lopez, Marta Emilia Lozano, Jose L. Ortega, Veronica Perez, Yesenia Perez, Roman Quintero, Apolonia Regalado, Maria Regalado, Ana Rodriguez, David Sainz, Michael P. Sainz, and Alberto Vasquez. May they rest in peace. A moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Any concerns with the consent agenda?
Yes, sir. I'd like to pull from consent agenda, from the consent agenda, item 10A and 11J.
Move to approve those two items.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'm going to ask Ms. Marty to address 11J first.
Yes, on 11J, this is a claim of payment of invoices that were acquired through a PO under the prior contract. The contract had expired, I believe, August 3rd, and several invoices thereafter were picked up under the old contract. What the auditor is suggesting is that the new contract would have been at a lower rate, and is asking for and is recommending or asking if you all will consider legal counsel looking into it. The only thing is that the product has been picked up and it's been used. I don't know what good it would do to have legal counsel look for it. We owe the money. It was used. Unfortunately, had it been caught earlier, maybe it could have been returned had it not been used. But I don't believe that there is any recourse other than, I don't know what recourse they think a legal counsel's opinion would give us. I'm sure there was it was inadvertent. It was, as I see the pickup tickets, they just continued to go and pick it up. It was brought to their attention, and these are invoices that were after the expiration of that current contract. But I don't know how we would remedy that the product was picked up, indeed, and used as is road material. So I would recommend approval. I don't see any other suggestion.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 10A, consent agenda, item 10A, for the record, Commissioner Fuentes is abstaining from any discussion and or action.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, under item 5A, a resolution in support of strengthening the Texas Trauma Network.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Julia Sullivan, presenting for County Judge Ramon Garcia. Whereas the Trauma Network of the state of Texas is comprised of 22 regions and includes 18 Level 1 comprehensive trauma facilities, 21 Level 2 major trauma facilities, 56 Level 3 advanced trauma facilities, and 193 Level 4 basic trauma facilities. And whereas Region 5 encompasses the county of Hidalgo, Cameron, Starr, and Willacy, with a combined population of over 1.5 million residents, and continues to be one of the fastest growing areas in the state of Texas. And whereas the Rio Grande Valley is situated along the Texas Gulf Coast, and therefore is at risk of experiencing widespread and catastrophic flooding and damage, which may pose significant threats to life and property due to tropical storms, hurricanes, and other natural disasters. And whereas approximately 40 Texans die every day due to traumatic injuries, and for every Texan that dies from a traumatic injury, at least 6 are injured. And whereas studies show that access to the appropriate level of medical care during the first 60 minutes of trauma, which is considered the golden hour, is critical to saving lives, and the American College of Surgeons recommends that each geographic region include a Level 1 or Level 2 trauma facility at its center and within a 30-minute transport time, and have a Level 1 trauma facility per 1 million residents. And whereas approximately 25% of Texans live in a county not accessible to a Level 1 trauma facility, and the nearest Level 1 comprehensive trauma facility to Region 5 of the Texas Trauma Network is located over 240 miles away. No Texan should ever go without timely access to the highest level of care when facing a severe traumatic incident. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby supports legislative efforts to make funding available to strengthen the Texas Trauma Network.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Approve this 25th day of September 2018. And joining us is Dr. Carlos Cardenas, who's chairman of the board for Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, and he's joined by Dr. Raul Barreda, who's a trauma surgeon, and Dr. Robert Martinez, who's chief medical officer at the hospital. Please, would you like to say a few words?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Judge, Commissioners, good morning. It is with great pleasure that we are here this morning, accompanied by my colleagues, Dr. Raul Barreda, who's on the front line of trauma delivery, Dr. Robert Martinez is our chief medical officer and helps us to make the decisions about transferring people in and out. And I stand before you, the three of us, as local physicians, born, raised here, and can remember a time when you could see spots between communities because of lack of lights when I was growing up. Today, we're a sea of lights from Brownsville all the way to Rio Grande City. We are 1.5 million people. We are 240 miles away from the nearest Level 1 trauma center. The next one after that is in Houston, 350 miles away to a Level 1 trauma center. 1.5 million people deserve a Level 1 trauma center, and we thank you for passing the resolution today. I'd like to give you a trauma surgeon's perspective on what this really means, and I'm going to turn that over to my colleague, Dr. Raul Barreda. Raul.
Judge, Commissioners, good morning.
Good morning.
Some background information as far as the Texas Trauma Network. These are recommendations by the Trauma Network throughout the state of Texas, not just the Valley, not just Hidalgo, not just Cameron. And these recommendations are mirroring recommendations by the American College of Surgeons. That's a nationwide institution that boards trauma surgeons. They recommend a Level 1, Level 2 trauma center for every 1 million people in population. Okay? In Hidalgo, we have 900,000. Cameron County's 500, 600,000 documented. Okay? We have one Level 2 center in Cameron. There is no Level 2 center in Hidalgo County. Okay? Misinformation is there's other facilities trying. They've been trying for 6 years. They are not a Level 2 center. The American College of Surgeons are the ones that verifies Level 2 centers, Level 1 centers. But going into that, as an example, statewide, you've got the region of Tyler that has a Level 1 and a Level 2 trauma center with 300,000 people. Okay? You've got the region of Killeen and Temple. It's got a Level 1 and Level 2 trauma center, 400,000 people. You've got a region of Lubbock that's got 300,000 people. It's got a Level 1, a Level 2, an additional Level 2 center. Why do we not have a Level 1 center in Hidalgo County for 900,000 people against the Gulf Coast? None of those are near Gulf Coast disaster-prone areas of hurricane areas. Okay? The Trauma Network identified glaring holes after Hurricane Ike hit Houston area, all these areas over here. They said, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. They shored up everything up. When Harvey hit, there was 4 Level 1 trauma centers between Galveston and Houston. 2 of those went down. Galveston flooded. Ben Taub was overwhelmed and was flooded out. The other 2 were overwhelmed and they could not care for the people that needed to be done. Okay? For that reason is why the American College of Surgeons and the Trauma Network are recommending these actions take place preventatively before the next disaster hits, especially shoring up the Gulf Coast. Okay? The Rio Grande Valley, the Corpus area. There are no Level 1 centers in those areas. If we hit in that area, we're cut off from everything else. Okay? With no help. All right? So with that, we have to be more aggressive in obtaining our funds. These funds are to make the trauma centers in Texas unified and equal. That way, if one goes down, the other one can pick up the slack, and it's just acting like fingers on a hand. Okay? And we need that, so they all work together. All right? Just because a hospital wants to be a Level 1 doesn't mean they become a Level 1. They become verified by a national organization that makes sure you're filling out criteria, protocol, and you save lives. Okay? Nothing there is political. Everything is merit-based. If you're good and you do a good job and you have the facilities, then you earn it. Okay? Will a facility become level 1? Yes. We will move forward with level 1 with or without funding from the state. But if the Rio Grande Valley can have a voice and obtain funding to become their EMS and the trauma centers to be equal to the rest of the state, then that's what we're asking for you to aggressively support. Thank you.
To bookend what Dr. Barreda said, the other side of this that may not be readily apparent to the public is that by having a level 1 trauma center in our area, along with the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley School of Medicine, gives us the ability to be able to train the next generation of surgeons who will stay, we believe, in our area. We've already graduated a class of internal medicine residents, 70% of which have stayed in our area. Family practice, the same thing. Our general surgery residents will finish here. We'll be graduating our next class next year. Our hope is, and we've already got pledges from one because he married a gal from down here, so I think he's staying for sure. But the beauty of this is that we are building and growing our own. That's what we have to do because of our relative geographic isolation. And I again thank you for passing this resolution and strengthening the Texas Trauma Network. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Just Ivana will direct you.
To this side so we don't block the commissioners. Thank you. Again, kind of few, please. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for initiating this.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Judge,
Mande.
with your permission, I'd like to go to 10B.
10B.
10B, please.
At this time, we're going to be moving up an agenda item number 10B.
So 10B would be, Julie, do you want to go ahead and?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under Executive Office, 10B is a presentation of the 2018 County Best Practices Award from the Texas Association of Counties to Hidalgo County for its nuisance abatement program. And I'd like to call up Mr. Rick Avery from TAC to say a few words, and then Chris and the nuisance abatement staff. Mr. Avery.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Rick Avery, and I'm a county relations officer with the Texas Association of Counties, and it's my privilege to be here today to present the Best Practice Award to Hidalgo County for its nuisance abatement program. The Best Practice Award is designed to recognize innovative and scalable programs that other counties can replicate, and the nuisance abatement program not only meets but greatly exceeds the criteria for this award. And Judge and Commissioners, you're to be commended for your foresight and the actions you've taken to make this program possible. And I'm happy to be here today to present this award. I'll go ahead and read the award at this time. Texas Association of Counties 2018 County Best Practices Award is conveyed to Hidalgo County for its nuisance abatement program for outstanding achievement and effective management of county government facilities, processes, and programs. Issued by the Texas Association of Counties on the 25th day of September, AD 2018. And this award is signed by our Executive Director, Gene Terry. Thank you.
Good morning. For the record, Chris Trevino, Executive Office. Quickly, I want to recognize a few people. Mr. Valde Guerra for his leadership and guidance in this program. The entire Commissioner's Court and your staff for the foresight to recognize the need for this service and push for the creation of this program. I would like to recognize my staff. If they could please come up and stand here so I introduce them. My office staff, Janie Alejos, Ann De La Fuente. My field staff, Leti Garcia, David Cantu, Orlando Fernandez, Will Barcenas, and Edward Enriquez, who have all done a tremendous job. I would also like to thank the DA's office, who has played an integral role in the creation and sustainability of this program, specifically Ms. Erin Thorne, Mr. Sergio Cruz and Mr. Ray Salazar from Budget and Management, Renan Ramirez and his staff from IT, and lastly, the residents of Hidalgo County, because without their participation, this program would not have had the success that it has. I'm proud to say this program has had nearly 2,000 reported cases and has played a part in the cleanup of 917 properties in rural Hidalgo County. And that is something we should all be proud of. Thank you.
Julia should have lines put in the floor.
I know, we should, right?
No, but seriously. Seriously. You could see me or what?
Okay, thank you. And then if we could, I'm sorry, if we could take one picture with the two of you handing the award with the pictures. Okay, some of you are going to have to stand up and oh, everybody, okay.
Thanks for being here. Thank you very much. Good job. The first time. It's me all the time. It's a race. Nothing wrong with it. School.
Some of you can stand in front, just make sure that you can see the people behind you. Ray, do you want to come to this side? If you want, you can stand in the back and then you can stand higher. Okay, everybody please, on the count of three, please smile and keep your eyes open, please. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Hi. Thank you for being here. Very good. By yourself. ¿Ya? Se fue que
Wait, what is that?
Another picture? Sarah.
Valde, what item is Judge Maldonado here on?
Mr. Silguero. Judge Maldonado is here on item 11B. Or 11A and B. Mr. Silguero.
Judge Commissioners, we have an item for County Court of Law 8, but I need approval on item 11A first, which is requesting a waiver of the budget amendment policy for personnel-related amendments that are listed below in case there is action taken.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, County Court of Law number 8 is requesting the following personnel action effective upon Commissioner's Court approval. The judge, and I guess he can explain to the court the need. They're asking to delete a clerk 1 slot 008, which is a grade 1, and to create a clerk 4 slot 009, which is a grade 7. But the judge, I think, is going to.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Morning, Judge.
Thank you all for the opportunity to come before the court and speak of the need that the County Court 8 currently is having. About 3 years ago, the Commissioner's Court was gracious enough to give County Court at Law number 8 a clerk's position. And the need at the time for a clerk's position was simply because we were implementing the Odyssey program for the county. And the Department of IT came to us looking for a court to serve as a pilot program for the Odyssey program. And we, as the new court, graciously stepped up to the obligation and challenge on behalf of the county to see to it that the Odyssey program was successful, and it has been. And so that's really why I came at that time for the clerk's position. The clerk position at the time was a minimum wage position, and over the course of the subsequent 3 years since I've been in office, the clerk has become an integral part of our office. I'm here asking that the court consider regrading this position simply because the position of a clerk in our court isn't a minimum wage type of position. Given the responsibilities and the duties that the clerk takes on in our court, she is or he will be tantamount to another office member. It is not clerical. It is not. They don't serve as an office switchboard, personnel. They don't just handle phone calls. We are talking about people that actually, our clerk deals with docket entries, deals with setting temporary restraining orders, and we're talking about recently. I took on the responsibility of spearheading the overcrowding at the jail. By working in conjunction with the probation department to try to ease the overcrowding that we are suffering from at the county jail. As the sheriff has come numerous times before the Commissioner's Court and talked about the jail overcrowding and how much is being spent with some of our inmates out of county. In the process of that, the probation department came looking for a court that would oversee that and sign off on those PR bonds to try and help the sheriff in trying to ease the overcrowding. And we stepped up again to the plate to do so. And we're continuing to help the county in whatever way possible. But this is not a responsibility of somebody who I can train, who comes in with no experience. What I'm seeking to do is my coordinator stepped away from the position to go back to school, and I promoted my assistant coordinator to coordinator. My clerk, who was serving as a clerk, was now moved up to assistant coordinator, and that leaves that spot open. And what I need from the commissioners is the ability to hire someone who has some training. I cannot go out there and hire somebody who, I'll bet it's a $12 an hour job. I'm sure I can get a lot of applicants, but I need somebody with some training. I need somebody, and we've identified somebody at the clerk's office who has the training, who has the experience to be able to handle the everyday needs. What the commission, I also think, needs to consider is the fact that with the sweeping of the step and grade, if in fact I'm afforded the opportunity to hire this clerk that I have identified as a potential hiree, she comes with 6 years experience, and that's the reason for the necessity in the grade reclassification, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to hire someone with at least some experience, and that's what I'm really asking for. I'm asking for the commissioners to consider the need. As I told Valde 3 years ago, as I told Mr. Sigredo, this is a need that the county courts are going to have. We're going to come. The day is going to come when all of us are going to be before the court asking for a clerk. And I understand that that's a situation that the court is of concern to the court. What it means budgetary-wise to add a clerk and to ask for more money. The situation here is that it's a net zero effect in this particular situation, because if I'm able to take the clerk from the county clerk's office and bring her into my office, inevitably the county clerk is going to have to hire someone else. And that step and grade policy is going to allow for the sweeping process to come, and the net effect to the county will be zero, when, of course, that takes effect. But I understand that the situation. If I was a district court, I looked into it. By statute, the district courts, the district clerk's office is mandated at the request of a district judge to send a clerk to their office to serve in the capacity that I'm asking for the clerk to serve in our office. Unfortunately, the county clerk is not under that same mandate. There's no statute that mandates the county clerk for giving the county courts a clerk. So I'm here asking that a budget item be issued so that I can have some monies to hire a county clerk. I'm sorry, a clerk for our court, because we cannot go to the county clerk and ask for that. I wish we could. If we were able to do so, I wouldn't be here. I'd simply be, coordinating this with Arturo Guajardo's office so that we can have a clerk assigned to our court, which in effect, that's who I'm seeking to bring into my office, the clerk currently assigned to our court. She knows our court, and she has a lot of experience, 6 years of experience in that capacity. But we're not there, and unless the statute changes, I won't be able to go to Arturo Guajardo's office to ask for a clerk to be assigned the way a district court can. Our volume, as you all know, as the Commissioner's Court knows, we handle on an everyday basis at least 100 cases. Those are 100 entries that need to be re-entered into the system so that the docket can continue to flow, business can continue to operate, and that's one of the chief responsibilities of a clerk. And so to train a new clerk, to bring in somebody at a minimum wage, $12 an hour, which again is it's a great salary for a lot of people, but it's something that we're not able to attract the quality of applicants that we're asking, that I need to be able to allow my court to function the way the lawyers, the bondsmen, the community has been accustomed to. And I think that the citizens of this county deserve County Court 8 to continue to operate as they deserve all county courts to continue to operate with efficiency and with the legal knowledge. This is a very delicate job. The clerk handles information that, if in the wrong hands, can lead to a lot of legal problems for the county, and so we need somebody who comes in with experience, and that's why I'm asking that the court consider regrading this position, because it was never taken into account at the inception of the step and grade. Had the step and grade not been implemented within my own budget, I would have been able to take care of the needs that I have. But that's an argument for another day and another time, because the step and grade policy has already been implemented in the county, and there's no way that I can deal with that situation. The county already swept approximately $13,000 of my budget when my coordinator was promoted from assistant coordinator to a coordinator, and my clerk from clerk to assistant coordinator. So the budget issue is, it's already been addressed, in my opinion, because $13,000 has already been swept back into the general fund. And I'm only asking that this clerk that I seek to hire, that I have enough funds, and the only way I can do that is if it's been reclassified. Otherwise, I'm forced to hire someone with no experience, because I wouldn't be able to hire from within the county somebody that has the experience that's necessary to be able to run an effective office. I think that it's necessary, and I think it's needed at this time, and I don't think, while I understand the situation and the budgetary issues that the commissioners face, I don't think that the needs of this county should be jeopardized because we're trying to save, in this situation, a couple of $1,000s. I understand that the other issue that has been brought to my attention is that all the other courts may ask for a clerk. I anticipate that in the future, and I would stand behind them if they were here standing. If one of my colleagues was here asking for a clerk, I could understand the need for it, and I could understand the reason why they would be here. And I would quite honestly advocate on their behalf that there is a need, because we all recognize that there is a need. But in the 3 years that I've had a clerk, there hasn't been a single county court judge to come and ask for a clerk's position. And that's because not every district court that has the opportunity to go to the district clerk's office to ask for a clerk asks for a clerk. They run their court however they see fit. I'm running mine to be as efficient as possible for the citizens of this county, and for that reason, I think it's premature for us to raise the flag or sound a horn in anticipation that all the judges will be running to this commissioner's court asking for a clerk. I think it's premature, and it's a hypothetical, but those hypotheticals haven't expressed themselves and haven't developed in the last 3 years. So what makes us think that in the next 3 years they're going to develop? I personally think that there's a need, but again, that's just a need for addressing the issues in my court, for implementing the new PR program, continuing with the efficiency that we have in our court, and that's the reason why I'm asking the court to consider a reclassification or a regrading of that position.
Move for approval on 11B.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Judge.
Yes.
You know what? We have Mr. Villarreal in the audience.
Mr. Who?
Villarreal, Paul Villarreal in the audience. Sergio. It's they're related. And so Sergio, Judge, Commissioners, if you allow.
What is the item number, brother?
It's right under.
Item 20A is related with respect to the role of the tax assessor collector and the adoption of the budget and public hearing. So, the tax office. Okay, so Mr. Silguero.
Since he was already up.
28.
Yeah, and you know what, Sergio?
28.
As you're passing that out, Mr. Silguero, do you want to go ahead and address the rest of your items?
Sure.
Right. And then that way we get prepared for it.
I think we're going to let Raul finish.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge, Commissioners, Human Resources is item 11A, which I guess where we were before. The item 11C is the next one. It pertains to the tax office. The tax office is asking approval to create 6 full-time temporary positions effective next full pay period, 10/1 through the end of the year. These are 10 temporary positions for a call center that the tax office set up some time ago to handle inquiries and calls related to the tax office business. And apparently they had 2 staff persons assigned to that, and they were overwhelmed. They have provided some numbers on calls that they received during this period of time. These are calls that were answered, not necessarily all the calls that came in, and they amount to about an average of about 600 calls a day for this time period. Ms. Eva Mireles is going to try to explain to the court why she has that need.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I know nobody ever wants to. Why do we need new positions? And I agree with you. But this is a much needed, item. We've been going through this for years. Why now? It's been long overdue. We have tried our very best to do as much as we can. During the peak season, what happens is that we try to expedite all the customers that come in through the office that are in line. So because of this, we do not have time to answer the phones. So we do not answer phones. And the number one problem is we get complaints from customers that, is your office open? How come nobody's answering the phone? I know the judge has called our office because, with complaints that nobody answers the phones. Believe me, we do have employees, but because of the fact that we do not have enough personnel to answer the phones, we then implemented what we call a call center. And I provided there in front of you pictures of what we actually did some time back. Thanks to Valde, I preached a lot to Valde how much we needed this. Of course, no additional staff. We never got any additional employees, but at least we got the funding to create at least the department. So step one, we got somewhere. So what we started doing was rotating people, moving people around, but eventually that also is going to come to a breaking point and not work out. And that is what has happened. The moving people around, you move one person away from the counter to answer the phone, so now you're short, a person from the counter. So we're back to square one, where we now have the facilities, but we do not have the staff to put in there. Now, what you can see there, what we did in that department, the way that it was implemented is a call center, and that's what we call it, a call center. And what it does is to answer phone calls from customers calling either with a property tax question or a motor vehicle question. We're trying very hard to answer phone calls from customers that have questions. What is my balance? What is the process I have to do? How can I pay online? How can I pay through e-check? And the numbers there that are provided, we got this from IT, and as you can see, these are the numbers that are during our peak season, which are most of our volume of calls that we get in through our office. Are the biggest ones is in January, 21,000 calls coming in. And even like that, I know I get a lot of complaints of people still saying you're not answering the phones, and we're trying our very, very best, but we don't have the staffing. And I've discussed this before with Commissioner Fuentes. We are about to, in a few minutes, they're going to, go over for you to adopt, the budget and then, of course, the tax rate. Eventually, when that happens, we now have, the responsibility to start doing what we call our mail-outs and start sending the tax statements. Once we start sending the tax statements, that's when all the volume of calls start coming in. One of the things that I do want to is make the public aware is that what's going to be different in our state certified statements this year is that we will not be having the West Laco substation there. We have several substations, throughout, Hidalgo County. But due to the fact, because of the fact of what happened, during this last storm, unfortunately, we do not have the West Laco office operational right now. However, it is going to open. I am sure of that, and it is coming soon. And it's not only going to be better, but, a lot more customer service, for the taxpayers of Precinct 1. What does that say about Precinct 1? Where do we go? What do we do if you don't have a West Laco office? We do have other offices open. Some of them don't want to drive too far. So the closest one is Elsa office. It's not as big as the West Laco office, but we're doing our very best. We have just put more employees there, and we're doing that. Again, so we're moving people around because of the situations, and we can't control disasters that happen, and we need temporary. That's what we're asking: temporary employees that will work during the seasonal peak season to work and answer the phone calls, to provide the customer service and answer some of these questions that for customers that maybe we can help them through the phone and not have to come and travel to any of the office locations. So that's what I'm asking for today.
And we've been working on budget now for several months, and this is the first time this item has come up. And I just have concerns that, other departments always make demands during the budget for more positions, and we always have to try to do our best to fight against that, because it's $1 million every single year when we're looking at new positions. My concern is, I asked Mr. Siguero if he had looked at this, if he had been able to vet it, and he hadn't had an opportunity to vet it. This other position, I didn't say much on the judge's position, but if we keep allowing new positions in every department, then it's just going to be $1 million plus every single year, and it's just every year we have additional expenses from outside creating new positions. That's my concern. It's not that I understand the customer service, and I know Fern made a comment that it was because we created the McAllen office. When we created the McAllen office, we also created, I believe, 4 positions. So that's not why this is coming to us. I just think that we need to vet it, and if we need it, we need it. But we also have monies that we're not conducting. I mentioned the RMA, and Mr. Villarreal had mentioned that to me several years ago, and yet we're still collecting for the RMA, and we're not getting any revenues for collecting for the RMA. And so I just see this as just opening the door to more and more positions, and it's hard to budget against all that.
And I agree, and I really hope that we do get somewhere with the RMA commissioner, but with all due respect, that is why when I talked to Mr. Silguero, it was for temporary, just during our peak season, and that's the only time. That's why we're asking, because that's the time that we, as you can see, the numbers that were provided, to us from IT. This is the time that we get the most volume of calls, and we don't answer a lot of the calls because of the fact that we're trying to assist the customers that are in our lobbies, that are there in our offices, because we want to expedite them there as quickly as possible. But not letting them feel that our office is closed and that we are not answering phone calls. And like I said, yes, why are you bringing this now? This is something that has been a problem for years and years and years. And I've worked with Valde throughout the years. And like I said, I want to, compliment Valde for helping us, because he did assist us to at least start implementing and creating a call center. The fact is that he said, I can't give you the staff right now. And I said, we'll work that later on. And right now, because of the fact that right now we're dealing with the West Local office being shut down, I just asked you to take this into consideration as we're trying to make a lot of changes and a lot of moves, and trying to assist as much as we can.
And Ms. Eva, I'm glad you're saying that, yes, in working with your office and commissioners and working with the office, obviously this phone calls, every commissioner, the judge, our office, tax office, we get, all day long. It's emails and phone calls, Okay, but with that being said, I've also, for quite some time, and Ms. Eva, we go back and forth, Mr. Reda, we go back and forth. We don't always agree, but at the end of the day, we know that we're both doing our jobs, and we don't walk away upset at each other, just knowing that we're doing what we need to do. But with that being said, for quite some time I said that we have to use the internal resources that we have effectively and as efficiently as we can, because at the end of the day, it is the tax revenue that we're using, with these endeavors. And so, yes, you are correct. Working with your office.
Commissioner, we're asking, or they're asking for approval, and we're only approving these, if you approve it, through the end of the year, because we're in the current budget. One of the things that I'll work with Mr. Renan to see if we can capture, these are the calls that were answered, that were received, and I don't think we have a number on how many calls we did not answer, how many people were left waiting or did not get through. I need to find a way to capture that information. How many calls do not get answered, if any, going forward? If we approve this, how many more calls we're able to answer, how many calls do not, and maybe there's a way for people to leave a recording and somebody can call them back when time permits. So those are things that we can do so we can give you better information coming back in January to see if you want to continue the positions for another 3 months.
But to Raul, I've got a question.
Yes.
6 positions they're asking for, right? It's
Yes,
8,000
temporary.
each. For about $40,000 a year.
Temporary.
Temporary, and they're all temporary.
They're all temporary, not full.
And next year you'll come back for the additional.
Well, for 3 more months, because this is
3 more months.
they need for
October,
6
November,
months.
December. So this is what they're asking for is for this year's budget, not next year.
Right. Yes, sir. We would have to come back in January and ask the court to extend them another 3 months.
Move for approval.
And Commissioner, and one of the in your precinct is one example. I just want to say that your precinct, when we see the public out there, rain, cold weather, and they're out there, I mean, I wish we could do a lot more, and we thank you because you also are one of the commissioners that implemented express lanes, like Commissioner Fuentes and Mr. Joseph Palacios, and that has helped. But we still want to do more for the public and the customers, and that is one of the issues, is that they do not like the fact that we do not answer the phone calls. And not answering phone calls is also, loss of revenue, because they want to be able to get in contact with us and make a payment and get any kind of assistance that they can with us to be able to make a payment.
Thank you, ma'am. We need a second? Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. Appreciate it. And I'm hoping that next year I can come back and show you the new numbers of what the 6 positions have made. Thank you.
I'm sure we'll be having a conversation.
Yes, Bobby, we will.
And I'll work with IT and the tax office to see if we can capture the information we need so that in January we can make a good informed decision. Judge Commissioners, moving on, under item D, 11D for the county clerk. The county clerk is requesting approval of the following personnel action effective next full pay period. This is simply a title change, no change in salary.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Items 2 and 3 is approval of the job description and approval to revise the classified positions list.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E for the Child Protection Court, they're asking for approval of the following personnel action effective next full pay period. They're asking to add interpretive pay. Currently, the bailiff does not have interpretive pay. He is required to do the interpreting, or they will require him. They're asking for interpretive pay in the amount of $3,000 as all courts.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And Mr. Salguero, just as a point of for the record, this is in line with the other.
That's in line with all other courts.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I have, Judge, Commissioners, one other.
Mr. Guerrero, just first of all, that motion was for all of E, not just E1?
All of you, yeah.
Oh, approval of the transfer? Yeah.
So moved on the approval of the transfer.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, I've also been asked to, there's a personnel item, item 18A, the Public Defender's Office is not able to be here, and they asked me to present this item, if you don't mind, item 18A for the Public Defender's Office. The item reads, this is for the grant at Texas Tropical. It says, discussion, consideration, approval of amendment to the interlocal agreement between Texas Tropical Behavioral Health and Hidalgo County by and through the Hidalgo County Public Defender's Office.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
2 is authorization for the county judge as authorized official to sign amendment to the interlocal agreement, award, and related documents.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is approval of certification of revenues by the county auditor in the amount of $15,000.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 4 is approval of the appropriation of funds.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 5 is approval to authorize the decrease of supplemental pay allowance for the following employee effective 10/1 slot 8001, Public Defender 2, current supplemental 11,600. The proposed supplemental is a little less, 11,550.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. And all right, we move back to item number 6A, our DA's office.
Oh, Judge.
We want to do our budget?
Right, the budget and the tax rate. We have Mr. Vieira.
What number is that?
20B.
20B.
We need to do 20B before we do 20A, just for truth and taxation purposes. Secretary Cruz, Department of Budget and Management. Item 20B is a public hearing on the 2019 proposed budget as per Texas Local Government Code, Section 111.067. Judge Commissioners, we did file the proposed budget with the county clerk and the county auditor's office last week. Here's the total general fund budget of $213,365,644 for the general fund. And if the court could open up the public hearing.
All right, at this time, we're going to be convening a public hearing to discuss our 2019 proposed budget as per Texas Local Government Code, Sections 111.067. Is there anyone that desires to make any comment on this issue?
Yes, good morning,
Good morning.
Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Marta Sanchez, and I work with la Unión del Pueblo Entero. And we just wanted to remind you that we've been noticed how many people comes and ask for more money, for more positions, for raises, for everything. And we are here not to ask for positions, not to ask for any, we're asking to consider putting money for the infrastructure for the public life in Colonias, which is, there has been a need for over 12 years in this county. And so we've been here very consistently. We are already lining up some colonias who have infrastructure, but every time that we have to do one that doesn't have infrastructure, we have to struggle for years to find the money and see where they can find it. And we're really looking for have an item in the budget, just like everybody else asking. And we know that that there is only so much money, but also this is a service for the community. It's not something that is the people are going to benefit. So there are in the budget, there's so little money that goes to the services of the community. A lot of the big pieces of the money that goes to this county goes to the courts, it goes to all the employees, and it goes to the sheriff department. That is the biggest pieces of the pie that they just spend the money of the tax that they collect. So we just wanted to remind you that we still need budget money in the budget for infrastructure for public life in colonias, for all those colonias who do not have this infrastructure. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners and Judge. My name is Laura Guerra, and I work with Horizon. Just to elaborate a little bit more on what Marta says, we're just here to remind you we turned in 2,112 signatures last week, and the request is the same. Our communities are happy. We have the program, and we just want to expand the opportunities to communities that don't have the infrastructure. And we'd like to see that item budget line. I noticed, I just checked the proposed budget this morning, and I didn't see the street lighting item. So we would just like to ask you to reconsider and place that so we had something formally there. And thank you so much for your collaboration, and thank you. Please consider it.
Anyone else desire to make any comments? At this time, we're going to be closing our public hearing and proceeding on to the next item.
Item 20B2, discussion, consideration, and action on changes and corrections to the 2019 proposed budget. Judge Commissioners, I did give you all a packet that includes some changes to the 2019 budget as it was filed last week. As far as the general fund, there's really no impact to the general fund. Really what we're including in there is going to be changes to the debt service fund and to some of the enterprise funds. There are individual line items on page 3 to page 7. As far as changes, if we could have those approved as part of the budget process.
There's no hidden agendas at all.
No, everything is all in paper, everything's.
All right.
Sergio, what did we end up doing on the employees?
For the employees, we did provide a 3% cost of living adjustment.
Okay.
For employees, again, we also funded the change that we had made earlier this year for the detention staff. We had provided an increase in excess of the 3% for those detention staff to be able to minimize the turnover within their staff. We also provided additional funding for the Humane Society and also provided $150,000 to begin a restart our spay and neuter program. Hopefully we'll be able to partner up with the City of McAllen again and start that program as well. So we did include all of that, those items in the budget.
Before we take action real quick, I know we're ready to move probably, but a lot of times in public comments, we're not able to respond to some of the concerns that are brought up. With respect to the concerns with the colonial lighting, what exactly are we able to do and what can we do? I understand maybe too late to change the budget with respect to allocations, but can you address at least some of the concerns that they brought
right
up?
now, the only thing we have budgeted for the colonial lighting program is going to be for the existing colonias that have been lit up already, and then those that are in the stages to be lit up, we've provided for the electricity services for those colonias. We did not include anything for infrastructure. If the court wants, during the course of next year, we could sort of allocate a certain dollar amount and take it from each quarterly sweep and dedicate it for colonia infrastructure, if that's the court's wish.
But on the infrastructure, don't we usually get the 75% of the petitioners of the colonia, agreeing to pay for the lighting?
For the lighting,
but
not
the
for
infrastructure itself provides for what, the poles and
the poles,
connectivity?
yes, and all that, the connectivity for that. Some of the colonias have the lighting in the back of a lot when they were first created. So then it takes time for them, and there's a cost to be able to move those poles to the front of lot. And if there's any easements that need to be acquired, there is a process for that.
But don't we usually do that after they've gotten all the signatures necessary? Or do you do it beforehand?
No, we'll do that after they have the signatures, and we'll bring it to court and identify to the court that this will require additional funding than just the normal lighting cost.
So I just want to
so
make sure
that's all
we
approved by
address-
the court, yes. And
we
we've
want to
done
make sure
several
to address
already.
Their question, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yes,
I just
no,
want
no.
yeah,
Yes, we've done several already, but again, there's no, as the ladies mentioned, there's no individual line item already earmarked for that. We usually have to find it during the course of the budget.
But but their concern is valid, is that if they require the infrastructure because they go through the process and get the names, and we will find the money necessary
Yes.
to put the infrastructure in.
Correct.
So it's not that we've neglected putting a line item, but we will address it if we get the necessary signatures. Then we'll move forward. I just want to make sure that we address their concerns before
Correct.
we move on to approving this budget.
Just so that I'm clear, do we have any subdivisions where they've acquired the signatures, but that it's on hold because we don't have the infrastructure money?
I believe there might be some that might have been acquired. I think the majority of them are being done. It depends on the cost of those. Those that have the poles in the back a lot, obviously the cost is just a relocation cost and not so much the full infrastructure cost. So those have been done, to my knowledge.
I'll get with you all just to see what we can do.
Yes.
My understanding was that there wasn't any with signatures waiting on infrastructure improvements. But I'll check with. I'll meet with you all on that.
Get some clarification for each of us. I think we'd all like to know if we have something pending.
We'll bring back a status, if you want, we can bring back a status next week of all the pending applications that we have, and then which ones are backup lot and which ones are.
And if they so will the backup lots have costs associated with them? Because I know we did a subdivision where we went through the whole process.
The backup lots have an additional cost associated with them. So usually.
But it's already identified the number. I know there is an additional cost.
Normally, we'll again, the priority was for those that already have the infrastructure in place. So those that have backup lot, we usually present it to the court to see if we want to get those cost numbers. Because again, there is a cost to AAP and all of that to do that and get those cost estimates to us, and there's a time frame.
Just so you know, we put a lot of effort into in 2015 and even prior, with the legislation that Veronica Gonzalez passed. We want to make this happen. So we need to look at what those costs are and maybe approve a certain amount a year. Because if they're going to be making that kind of effort, I think that we need to support them and help them bring the infrastructure costs to the front. I didn't know that we were in that situation.
Sergio, I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
What about the colonias that are, say we approve them and then the ETJ takes over? I mean, there's ETJ on there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of them that might be acquired or be annexed into cities afterwards. At that point, then the city would take over the cost of the lighting. And
But
basically,
what if it's on the process of getting the ETJs and the Colonia project is on the same, about the same? Who's responsible for that?
yeah, then, well, I mean, if they're, again, if we think that they're on the same timeline as far as being annexed and us being able to light them up, then I think it sort of would be on our end to maybe hold off and let the annexation take place as opposed to moving along and incurring that cost if that's already going to be done by the city.
Well, it would behoove us for a lot of reasons, because once the city takes over, it makes it so much easier for that subdivision also.
Yes, to get annexed. I mean,
It's complicated the way we're doing it because we have to, because that's the way the state left it to us.
Yes. The cities have a lot more, I guess, ways to be able to light up the colonias as opposed to our, where we have to petition the order and do
Right.
a lot of other
It's really difficult for us.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I move to approve the proposed budget.
Second.
Those in favor indicate, do
we have to read it or what?
Not for the budget, no.
Changes and corrections.
These are just changes and corrections
indicate
as
by
outlined
saying aye
on,
then?
on the packet.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20B3 is approval to set salaries, allowances, and other compensation for fiscal year 2019. Again, these we're requesting to be approved, both with what was approved and then what was the changes that we have listed on page 3 and 4 of the packet.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20B4 is approval of the county pay tables and position inventory list. The pay tables and the inventory list were attached to the agenda, and they're really just the grade and step pay tables, the law enforcement, and the detention pay tables, along with the position inventory list that we use that coincides with the grade for each position.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20B5 is adoption of the 2019 annual budget at the departmental level.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Hey, Sergio, did you skip 28?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, on purpose, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to be coming back.
Yes, sir.
28 is consideration and approval of an order setting the 2018 Hidalgo County tax rates. And I believe each of the rates have to be approved separately, and it has to be a record vote.
I move to approve that the maintenance and operation tax rate be 0.5100 cents per $100 valuation.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimously.
I move to approve that the total debt service tax rate of 0.0700 cents per $100 valuation.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Item 3, I move that the total ad valorem tax rate be 0.5800 cents per $100 valuation.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Judge Commissioners. Did you mean to finish there? Or do you want to move?
Finish?
Yes, please.
You get to order.
Item 20C.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Item 20C is authority for the county judge to sign TxDOT form right-of-way A10 tabulation of values for all parcels associated with the Precinct 3 Liberty Road project from US 83 to Mile 3, CSJ 092102-194 until completion of the project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20D is approval to submit the fiscal year 2018 Texas Vine Grant reimbursement maintenance invoice in the amount of $28,546.78 and the Texas Statewide Automated Victims Notification Service county verification of continuing production record with the authority for the county judge to sign the required documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 20E is approval of appropriation of funds from the County Clerk's Record Management and Preservation Fund, unassigned fund balance for the County Clerk Record Management and Preservation in the amount of $2 million. This is for the preservation of books.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. All right, we move back to item number 6A, our DA's office.
Good morning, Commissioners. Judge Rosalinda Cantu presenting for the District Attorney's Office. Item 6A, District Attorney's TTBH Fund 1281. Number 1 is discussion, consideration, and approval of amendment to the interlocal agreement between Texas Tropical Behavioral Health and Hidalgo County by and through the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 2 is the authorization for county judge as authorized official to sign the amendment to the interlocal agreement, award, and related documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 3, approval of certification of revenues by the county auditor in the amount of $15,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approval of appropriation of funds.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And number 5 is the approval to authorize the decrease of supplemental pay allowance for the following employee effective 10/1/2018. Employee number 106011. The current supplemental pay is $11,730, and the proposed is $11,690.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 7, our HIDA Task Force.
Item 7A, HIDA OCDEF, Fund 1291. Number 1 is the approval of Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force's agreement between the Hidalgo County DA HIDA Task Force and the Drug Enforcement Administration, McAllen District Office, Houston Division Office of OCDEF, Strike Force Group D-81.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 2 is the approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the OCDEF grant agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 3 is the approval to appropriate the OCDEF grant award in the amount of $13,800 in reference to investigation number SW-TXS-1160H.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 7B, HIDA OCDEF Fund 1291 again. Approval of FY 2019 overtime agreement, investigation number STXS-1106H between the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force and the Hidalgo County DA HIDA Task Force in the amount of $18,343.75.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 2 is authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions.
So
Move for
moved.
approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 3 is the approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditors for the OCDEF agreement.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 4 is the approval of appropriation of funds in the amount of $18,343.75.
Move for approval.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
You know what? Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheriff's Office number 8.
Good morning, Commissioner Scott. Chief Herrera with the Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County.
Morning.
8A1, Sheriff's Office, OCDEF, 1284. Number 1, approval of the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, OCDEF, agreement between the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office and the Drug Enforcement Administration, McAllen District Office / Houston Division Office, OCDF Strike Force, Group D81.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2, approval to request OCDF funds in the amount of $13,800 in reference to the investigation number SW-TXS-1048H.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 3, authorization for Hidalgo County Sheriff as local official to sign agreement, form, and related documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, is Sheriff's Office OCDF 1284 again. Number 1, approval for fiscal year 2019 overtime agreement investigation number ST-S-TXS-1048H between the Organized Crime and Drug Enforcement Task Force, OCDF, and the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2, approval to request OCDF OT funds in the amount of $18,000 in reference to the investigation number SW-TXS-1048H.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
3, authorization for the Hidalgo County Sheriff as local official to sign agreement forms and related documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
C, 1, authorization and approval to purchase through the State of Texas Surplus Property Program under Chapter 2175.001 of the Texas Local Government Code, Section 262.0249C, 3 high mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicles, Humvees, in total of $4,000 each, and 1 cargo truck LMTV for $7,500 for a grand total of $19,500 through requisition number 379755.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2, authorization for purchasing department to issue purchase order and county treasurers to issue check made payable to Texas Facilities Commission after county auditor's review.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Real quick, let me just make a comment. Mondo, if you can look at that item on where they bought some of those Humvees. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was an aside.
Make that 2 more after that.
D, Sheriff's Office ICE overtime 1284. D1, approval to accept overtime funding from U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, fiscal year 2019 in the amount of $15,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2, authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions.
So
Move
move.
for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
3, approval for certification of revenues as certified by the county auditors for ICE overtime funding.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 4, approval of appropriation of funds in the amount of $15,000.
So
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
8E, number 1, authorization of approval of interlocal cooperation agreement between City of McAllen Police Department, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2, authorization for Hidalgo County Sheriff Eddie Guerra as authorized official to sign the agreement.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. That's all I have.
Thank you. Constable Precinct 1.
All right. Constable Precinct 1.
Number 9.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Martin Blanco on behalf of Constable Celestino Avila. First item 9A is item AI 66781, Constable Precinct 1, Texas Tropical Behavioral Health, Security-1285. Item number 1, requesting approval of interlocal agreement between Tropical Texas Behavioral Health and the County of Hidalgo by and through the Office of Constable Precinct 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Number 2, authorization for county judge, authorized official to sign interlocal agreement, award, and related documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Number 3, approval of certification of revenues by the county auditor.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Number 4, appropriation of funds.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And number 5, approval of the following personal action. Action to create a Department Program 291-019 slot dash correction 0001, position title Deputy Constable, rank and step R07/S01.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And that's all I have. Thank you, Jim. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. All right, our executive office, item 10.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. I do have an update, item 10A1, update on ongoing county-owned building construction, relocation and/or renovation repair projects. Judge, Commissioners, just as an update, and this is specifically at Precinct 1, we are continuing to work along with the Purchasing Department and the vendor with respect to the build back of the County Commissioners' precinct administrative offices, as well as the JP11 and JP12 administrative offices. I know that we've made some headway. Still a couple things to get out of the way, but as we suspected, this was going to be a long process, given the way that given the way that the damage occurred and the extent of the damage, as well as the process that we utilize with our insurance company. As everybody has seen in the past or in the last couple of court sessions, there was a $500,000 allocation or appropriation, and that was in advance from our insurance company on covered expenses towards the bill back for the precinct offices and JP offices. With that being said, we are also moving along with respect to the construction of a new tax office substation at the precinct office compound. And it would be just east of the constable's office. Correct? Yes, sir. Just east. And so we are continuing to work with the Commissioner's office, obviously working with Mr. Sergio Cruz and his office with respect to the funding that's been identified for that project, as well as the build back project, and Purchasing Department. So, Commissioner, I don't know if you...
Yeah, no, it was just, we've talked about the tax office a lot today, and we apologize for any inconvenience with respect to accessibility. And just for the record, our offices in Elsa and Alamo are the closest ones, next to Westaco and Mercedes. We are in the process, we had already been in the process of planning and for a new tax office, new planning department, new health and human services area. So we're unfortunately got pushed into it, but we just asked for a little bit of patience, and we should have a brand new facility that will be, more attuned to giving some customer service the way we've been talking about all day today. But we are in the process of moving forward with them.
Thank you. There's no action on item 10A2. 10B we've acted on. 10C, I do have Ms. Joanne Perez in the audience. Item 10C is request permission to utilize the Robert Chevrolet parking lot, Lot 3, north of the courthouse on Saturday, October 13th from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. for Love Your Cha-Cha's 5K run walk event. Judge, Commissioners, just for the record, this request, along with the other two requests that I have, were in the pipe prior to everything that's occurred at the courthouse, and I'll have an update with respect to future requests after we've done these. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Ms. Joanne Perez. I know this has been an annual event for you.
Yes, very kind. Good morning, judges, commissioners. My name is Joanne Perez. This year is actually the 9th annual Love Your Cha-Chas for breast cancer awareness. The theme is Dia de los Muertos, which is actually my mother's 10th year anniversary. So I'm requesting permission to use, we're going to have to relocate from usually the town square to the Robert Chevrolet, which will be directly in front of her street on Loeb Street. So I'm just requesting the permit for permission to use it.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item D is request permission by the City of Edinburgh to use the county parking lots north of the courthouse on Saturday, October 27th from 6 to 11 p.m. during the annual Los Muertos Bailin celebration being held at the Edinburgh City Hall courtyard.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 10 is request permission from the Edinburgh Pro-Life Committee to utilize the annex lot, that should say annex lot 1A1 parking lot that's south of the annex building on Saturday, there was a change, October 20th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, with that being said, with respect to the three that we just took, that the court took action on, and thank you very much. Again, those were in the pipe prior to everything that's occurred at the courthouse. For the record, I am going to put a moratorium on future requests with respect to the use of the facilities in that general vicinity. I am working with Mr. Crane as a result, and I've mentioned this before, as a result of the construction that's taking place at the courthouse, the open forum that was designated by Commissioners Court is not accessible. And so I'm working with Mr. Crane in the interim to designate another area as open forum. But with that being said, we need to take into consideration everything that comes with requests for that use, which is namely, first and foremost, with the Sheriff's Office, which is the safety and security aspect of the event. We go through the Sheriff's Office, and the Sheriff's Office does what it does. It vets and then works with our office with respect to the event itself. As an example, I know that there's the annual prayer day that's held out at the open forum that they do request under the First Amendment, but it is a large event, and so as such, the Sheriff's Office plays a huge role in the safety of those that are attending that event. And so for right now, I'm letting the court know that my office, I've made a decision to put a moratorium on future requests while we work out a future site that would be acceptable to the court, one, and that would be temporary given the construction, and then two, in working with the Sheriff's Office, because again, the Sheriff's Office is integral in those events. They do provide the security aspect for that event, or for events, I'm sorry, for events. Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Item 10F, I have discussion, consideration, action on countywide internship for Eli Torres.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 12, Urban County.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Our first item on the agenda is that we would like to disclose to the public and the Commissioners Court that there's an applicant that we have in our office for housing assistance. Her name is Amelia Saenz. She's applied for the owner-occupied housing rehab assistance program, and she happens to be the aunt of our housing division. Actually, she has to be the aunt of the housing division's wife's, housing division staff member's wife. So the disclosure is required so that we may be able to obtain an attorney's opinion regarding whether there's a violation of state or local law, and then submit our request to HUD.
If you need approval, so move.
Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Our next item is requesting approval to remove the current Colonial Resident Advisory Committee CRAC member for the Hidalgo County Urban County Program Colonia Self-Help Center.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The Proyectos DECA has requested that we appoint 2 new Colonia residents to the advisory committee membership for this Colonia Self-Help Program. Their recommendation is that the new appointees be Irma Andrade and Yolanda Hernandez.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Our last item, Judge, is our request to conduct a public hearing to consider public comments for Hidalgo County Urban County Programs Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. This is what we call the CAPER, prior to the submission to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
At this time, we're going to be convening a public hearing to consider any public comments on that matter.
If I may, Judge, I'd like to advise the public on what it is that we've done with this CAPER.
Well, I'm not sure if anybody's wanting to speak. No, we're going to be closing a public hearing and proceeding.
May I identify to the public what it is that the CAPER is?
Yes, yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. This report is submitted to HUD on an annual basis. We would like to report to the county that the Urban County Program, through its use of the Community Development Block Grant Program, spent $7,739,822.77 for projects consisting of parks and recreational facilities, parking facilities, flood drainage improvements, water sewer improvements, street improvements, fire station equipment, community centers, non-residential historic preservation, for a total of $5,434,356.08, and that is total completely for infrastructure projects within the 4 precincts and within the 18 communities that consist of the Urban County Program. Additionally, a total of $667,670.33 were spent for public services. Those that benefited are agencies for senior services, handicap services, transportation services, battered and abused spouses services, health services, abused and neglected children, the food bank, and other public facilities not listed, such as youth centers or boys and girls clubs. Total administration was $1,384,601.11, and the repayment of the Section 108 loan that we currently have in our books is $253,195.25. So the total allocated was $7,739,822.77. Additionally, we constructed a total of 44 homes using our existing owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program, as well as the SHOTOs that we currently work with, Proyecto Azteca and ASTI. Those are now 44 new properties within the county of Hidalgo that are now considered a tax base for the county and the cities in which they are located.
All right, any comments? No comments. This time we're going to be closing our public hearing and proceeding.
There is nothing that I need to submit it anymore, Judge. As long as we conduct this public hearing, I'm able to submit this report that is not changeable to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item 13, our Health Department.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Mr. Guerra. I'm presenting on behalf of Eddie Olivares. Item A is discussion and consideration and approval to support UTRGV School of Nursing's grant application to the Knapp Community Care Foundation. If approved, it consists of Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department providing clinical space at the Westlaco Clinic. The project name is Mid-Valley Intervention Program for individuals identified with diabetes and their family cohorts. The duration of the project would be from April 1st, 2019 to March 31st, 2022.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And respectively, under items B and item C, there will be no action.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item 14, our Fire Marshal's Office.
Judge, Commissioners, if I may, item 14 is acceptance and approval to reimburse employee Homero Garza, Fire Marshal, in the amount of $48.69. This was for the purchase of a hitch lock and padlock in connection with the September rain event with authority for County Treasurer. To issue payment after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by our county auditor.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 15, our Adult Probation.
Item 15, if I may, as well, Judge, Commissioners, adult probation. This is their domestic violence court grant. This is Fund 1289, Criminal DA, Fund 1100, and County Court of Law Number 1, Fund 1100, as well as the Public Defender's Department Office, Fund 1100. This is approval to continue payment from general fund for employees currently receiving supplemental pay and fringe benefits under the domestic violence court grant, pending receipt of the award of the 2018-2019 grant year.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 16, Texas AgriLife Extension Service.
Yes, Judge, we do have Andrea in the audience.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners, Mr. Guerra. Andrea Valdez, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. I'm here with Dr. Ruben Salvania, our District 12 Extension Administrator, to confirm employment for our new 4-H and Youth Development County Extension Agent.
Sure. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just want to make it short and sweet if I can. I'm sure you'd appreciate it. We've had the vacancy here for several months, did our search, and we'd like to bring a recommendation forward to the court. With your approval, we'd like to start Joseph Osuna here as the 4-H agent here in Hidalgo County, serving Hidalgo County, effective with the date shown on the agenda. He's a graduate of Texas A&M Kingsville, native of Starr County, Rio Grande City, and we're looking forward to having him with your approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Congratulations, sir.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to work here in Hidalgo County to provide a service for the youth and development of the 4-H program and do the best job I can through hard work and dedication.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 17, our Head Start program.
Yes, we have one item, and it's that time of year when you start looking for appointing community representatives to the Policy Council. You're getting a corrected copy that lists the current Policy Council representatives and the amount of time that they have served. And according to the standards, they can serve 5 years. So the item is discussion approval to appoint one community representative by each member of the Commissioners Court, who is the grantee board, to serve in the Hidalgo County Head Start Program Policy Council for a 1-year term according to 45 CFR 1301.3D3 beginning in October. And so we have training scheduled for October the 20th, and hopefully we'll be able to have a full PC, all positions filled by then.
I'm going to have to request a deferment for one more week.
Okay.
Online, I think she's sick right now, and she had an episode, and haven't been able to talk to her about this. But I'll have an appointment for you by next week.
That's fine. I'll bring the item each meeting until we get a full slate. Okay.
I'm fine reappointing my Hilda Garza de Shazo for another year, or the maximum I can.
Yes, I think
And
she's
I'm going to be appointing Dr. Martin Castillo.
Okay. And I know Commissioner Flores had indicated he would be too, but he's not present, so can wait until next time.
You need some action?
Yes.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Sorry, yeah. Legal for 1 year, right?
1 year.
Yes.
Move for approval, adding Mr.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Item 19, our WIC program.
Morning, Margarita Gonzalez, on behalf of Larissa Ramirez. Item 1, the WIC NTE 1292, approval of certification of revenues in the amount of $165,200 as certified by the county auditor for the FY 2019 WIC extra funding grant.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Approval of appropriation of funds in the amount of $165,000 for the FY 2019 extra funding grant.
Do we need to say 165,200?
Second.
Those in favor say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 21, purchasing.
How'd you guess my age, Judge? Okay. Item 21A, acceptance and approval to execute the final form of professional engineering services agreement, subject to, it's been, the review's taken place, for the provision of construction materials testing and laboratory services for the new Hidalgo County Courthouse project with Terracon Consultants, as approved back in March of this year. The only observation by auditor is the accord form has not been uploaded, and this would be subject to receipt and of that form.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Item B, requesting approval of work authorization number 1 in the amount of $370,177.50 under the current agreement with Terracon for construction materials testing and laboratory services for the new Hidalgo County Courthouse project.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2A, requesting authority to reject non-qualifying bids received for project number 187. This is lease of office space to house the Delaware County Urban County Program.
Move for approval.
Second. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'm watching.
Item B, requesting authority to re-advertise the Delaware County lease office space for the Delaware County Urban County Program with modified specifications developed and drafted in collaboration with the County Program Director, Purchasing, and Executive Office.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
3, approval to exercise the final one-year period extension as provided in the agreement with OTSO DBA Valley-Wide Security for security guard services for the county.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 4.
Hold on, Ms. Martin. For the record, Commissioner Fuentes is abstaining from any discussion and/or action on this item.
On this, okay.
Okay, and all appropriate paperwork has been submitted.
All right. Thank you.
I may have an issue on 2B, but because it's being re-advertised, maybe I don't.
We
No,
have no
it's-
action. It's been rejected.
Right.
And it's our recommendation to reject.
Okay.
None of them qualified, Commissioner, also. So, anyway, I'm on item 4. A, requesting approval to exercise the option to renew and extend the final one-year term as provided in the current contract for policies for the following: Aetna Life Insurance Company and 2 Dearborn National.
Move approval.
Is this, were we going to have a presentation on this? Or
That's
is
the
it?
next item.
I got you. So we're going to approve it first and then have a presentation?
Well, I think those are up for renewal. I don't know, you want to say something?
So what's the purpose of the presentation?
Well, that's
That's
exactly
on other items.
Okay, it's not related to that?
No, sir.
Okay.
But you are recommending,
Oh, I got you.
Yes, recommending the renewal of that Dearborn National.
Commissioner's going to abstain, so I'll make the second. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
okay. Now, the second one is presentation by Mr. Looney from Brown & Brown Loan Insurance Service, Alamo Insurance Group, for C, discussion, consideration, approval of medical plan, and D, approval of the 2019 medical benefits plan, basic and buy-up. I'll turn it over to Mr. Looney.
Court. There should be on your handout, there should be a short Excel spreadsheet that shows recommendations to make changes in deductibles and coinsurance for maximum limitations for this next year. Those are in concert with the Ellis, the actuarial, Lewis and Ellis actuarial report to increase those by approximately 7%. We're recommending that change take place. They're minor changes, but they are keeping this in leverage with the 7% that Lewis and Ellis has requested. The other thing that we've worked on, we've done some review of a benefit that is currently in place with the employees of the county that's not really being utilized, and that's telehealth or telemedicine, and the term under your contract is teledoc. That's the service that's being provided. What we're recommending is that we make a change in that benefit, that it currently requires a copayment as if it were an office visit copayment of $40 per employee to make that call to get that service. We're recommending that we reduce that to $0 so that individuals that need that service or can utilize that service do not have a copayment associated with that. What that is attempting to do is to help the county move individuals that would normally use an emergency room for simple items or an outpatient facility for simple things like sinusitis, ear infections, things that really take time to go to the doctor's office, get dissatisfied using telehealth. We find a great deal of utilization of this in the other areas of the state. There's some reticence to use it here because of the copayment, And we feel like reducing that to zero will greatly benefit employees and the county too, because it saves money on each visit that is not going to the emergency room that is being taken care of. So we're asking for that change also.
Okay.
Any questions?
Have you looked into the retirees for insurance, how much it'll cost the county?
We've asked Liz and Alice to do a report. I've also done substantial research during the last 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks. It becomes more and more complicated the deeper you dig. What I've asked, if it's all right, I've asked the purchasing officer if I provide her with an RFP to access the general market, that we could go into the general market, research the possibility of moving retirees into a separately identified product that would be affordable for the county and for the employees.
All right.
We did receive the draft of that actuarial study, and it did show significant liability to the county if we were to just go 100% funding the retirees. We did schedule a conference call, so we're pending to go over those results with them in more detail, because again, as Mr. Looney mentioned, it does get a little bit complicated the more you dig into providing that type of benefit to the employees. So we are scheduled to have a conference call, and then hopefully once we get the final report, present that to the court with recommendations.
How does the state do it? The state pays for their retiree employees.
Feria.
Yeah, and it all has to deal with funding. I think right now the actuarial accrued liability would be somewhere around $12 million for the retirees that we have. I think on the draft it was closer to about 66 million. So it's a huge liability that we would then have to put on our books to be able to do this, because we have to fund all of this ahead of time. Future benefits, all of that would have to be funded. So it does create a big funding liability for us in providing that the way we requested it. So we do want to sort of get more into the details, get exactly see how it affects us on a fiscal year basis before we come back to the court with that. I mean, just because of that huge liability that it would present to us.
6 million, is that for the entire life expectancy you got, or that's not per year, is it?
No, that's sort of what we have to pre-fund to be able to fund those that would be in the retired right now, and those that we expect to retire in future years.
Since we're self-funded, or what?
Because we are self-funded, then we would have to do that. So that's what we're looking at, actually moving the retirees into sort of a separate plan.
Yeah.
And maybe that way that liability wouldn't be on us; it'd be on an annual basis.
Yeah.
And sort of try to reduce the liability that way. That's what we're looking at doing.
Who can give my staff a presentation on Teledoc?
I'm sorry, sir.
Who can provide my staff presentation on how to use Teledoc, or that it's out there?
There's a health fair that's coming up shortly, and there will be people there explaining Teledoc and how it works, and actually having them register for the service.
Who do they represent?
Teledoc.
Teledoc. It's separate and apart from Aetna?
It is a subset of Aetna, yes. It is a separate
So
company.
when we have this October health fair, that's where it's going to be presented?
We can arrange to have a presentation to the staff if you'd like.
If possible. And at that time, I'll probably even bring in their spouses so that they can see how it works and get people to participate. It sounds like something that we should all consider.
It's proven to be very beneficial to the organizations that do take advantage of it.
Thank you.
They've approved it.
You want to talk about it?
No, just the fact that we're changing the stop loss limitations from 275,000 to 300,000, recommending that, and again, that's also in accordance with sort of the 7% increase. that will also, will provide us some benefits for this fiscal year, as we're going to be waiving some of the fees for this fiscal year, sort of offset that increase in costs in the claim. So we should have a zero net effect to the funding for that plan, for next year's plan year.
Actually, it could be a little better than that, because we did negotiate with Aetna to reduce their administrative service fee. So that fee is going to be reduced by about $90,000 next year. And then the stop loss benefits, the way we've negotiated them, they're a flat zero. So.
Or are we? I think we approved B. Do we need C and D, or where are we?
Yeah, we would need C and D. If it hasn't been approved, we would need both C and D approved as well.
Just to be on the safe side if we can. Commish. C and D.
Move for approval.
On C and D?
C and D, yes, sir.
Second. With Commissioner Fuentes abstaining. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 21B1, Precinct 1, Commissioner, Precinct 1 Office requesting for Commissioners Court to accept and approve a public purpose pursuant to the Texas Constitution, Article 3, Section 52, and is further detailed on the agenda item.
Second. Oh, sorry. Commish.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item C1, Precinct 4, pursuant to Hidalgo County's exiting elected official expenditure policy, requesting the following. A, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 to work authorization 1 in connection with project number 136 with LNG for the purpose of amending Exhibit C scope of schedule to include J8 drainage improvements and an increase of Exhibit D1 in the amount of $153,508.54. This is for FM 2220 Ware Road project from FM 676 mile 5 to FM 1925, and the correct amount would be $1,383,168.54, and that was submitted to the auditor via email by precinct. The correction.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B is pursuant to Article 14, Professional Engineering Services Agreement. Number 136, LNG is requesting approval to engage subcontractor ROW Surveying Services.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Items 2A and B, no action is necessary. A solution has been found, and a PO will be eventually issued for that. Item D, constables requesting authorization. No, you don't. No, but this was for this.
No, it's this as well.
Oh, I apologize. I go back to item C2A. It does require action. It's only C2B that does not require action. A solution was found. A, Hidalgo County Precinct 4 is also requesting to accept and approve public purpose pursuant to Texas Constitution, Article 3, Section 52, and as further detailed on the agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
I
carries.
apologize for that. D1, constables requesting authorization to purchase and installation of lighting equipment and accessories from Dana Safety Supply DBA Fleet Safety through Hidalgo County's membership and participation by Board Contract 524 in the amount of $17,252.81.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
WIC requesting approval to exercise 60-day grace period extension as indicated in the current agreement for the purpose of the lease of office space in the city of Alton for the WIC program, and this is under the same rates and conditions with the contractor as detailed on the agenda item.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item F1, Sheriff's Office. A, requesting action to declare weaponry, specifically 408 handguns, list attached herein as surplus for the purpose of trade-in on the purchase of new weapons from for the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office with approval to remove said fixed assets from the SO's inventory after the completion of this transaction.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And item B is authority to purchase new weaponry, 425 handguns, and to add the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office fixed asset inventory list detailed in the supporting documentation contained herein, so as to complete the transaction and purchase from the vendor 6 Hour Incorporated requisition number 379712. Total purchase with the trade-in $29,325.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. We have open forum. First person that registered is Fern McClarity. Second person, last person, Arturo Ortiz the third.
How you doing?
Good.
I'm sorry to take your time. Thank you for hearing me this morning. I wanted to speak real quick about some incidents that I've been trying to get Mr. Flores to help me with. I haven't had any help with him whatsoever. It's involving incidences having to do personal, and as well as commissioner, I went to him as my commissioner. I live in Mission, having problem getting reports, having problem with major incidents involving children, and so I'm just trying to get something done and let him know that I need to get this done. There's children involved, and I have proof of everything, and they're in danger. 4 children are in danger. Their lives are very in danger. And no one's doing anything about it. I can't get any I can't even get I have 4 felonies pending. I can't even get a police report from the Mission PD. I'm pending on 911 calls that I made that there are no police reports, that there were assaults taking place. It's just a lot, and I'm just trying to get this figured out. I don't know what else to do. I haven't seen my kids in a month. It's ridiculous. I'm not a felon. I'm not a criminal. I work hard. It's just unfair, and it's sad. You know, really, I've known Mr. Flores many years since I was a child. I love him very much. I respect him very much. I've been going to him. I have proof of everything, and I just don't know what else to do. I need to see my kids. I'm worried about them. Their mother, she has issues, and they're very serious, and I can't get nothing done, and I don't know what else to do. Even my lawyer has told me that he's having trouble with all kinds of things, and it's just, I'm hitting a wall everywhere I go. So I have nothing else to do. I had to come here. Like I said, I respect Mr. Flores a lot. I've known him since I was a child. I've known him my whole life. I just don't know what else to do. So I just wanted to set it on the record and let him know that I need his help. I need him to pay attention to the children. There's a CPS case already open. I have proof of everything. You know, it's really bad. And that's it. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. There's no other constituent signed up. Do we have a closed forum?
Yes, sir.
Pursuant to Chapter 551, Texas Government Code Sections 551071 and 551072, make a request to go into closed session.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll be right back.
All right, we're back in open session. Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. I will go to item 24. There's no action under item 24A, and there's no action under item 24B. Item 25, under open session, 25A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same. There's no action to be taken today. 25B, pending under potential litigation.
25A is more proceeds.
25B, pending under potential litigation. There's no action to be taken. 25C, Santiago Zavala versus County Hidalgo will proceed as directed. 25D, claim of Daniel Marroquin. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $1,413.81. If accepted, it would include a full settlement.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 25E, claim of Yadira Aldaba. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $247.79.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
There is no need to go back into closed or open session, so before adjournment, Judge Commissioners, our next Commissioners Court is October 9th.
Not next week.
9th. Not next week, but the following.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.